Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the African lion. This is yet another true life adventure narrated by Winston Hibbler. Yes, if you've watched any of these, you've recognized the voice, especially you slightly older folks. But yeah, these are what the Disney group used to bring out. Walt had a big passion for just nature and cultures and animals in general, and loved making all these documentaries, filmed probably with the best quality equipment that you could get in 1955 when this was put out. But it's shot on film. It's got that kind of real earthy, grainy feel to it. Still gorgeous. Some parts a little slowed down. Some parts are just real life and shot from a distance. Some are surprisingly more close up than you'd ever expect them to be. But yeah, it's still that kind of it tells the story of just the African lion and all the many other creatures on the African plains that all kind of feed into the ecosystem that the lion oversees as the king of the jungle. They do leave out some things that we've learned since then, or at least they probably knew back then, and in more modern documentaries, of which there are many on National Geographic. This is a Disney one. This National Geographic documentaries tend to say, oh yeah, you know what happens after the pride, the female lion starts cranking out kids. Well, the dad sometimes heads off and starts killing off the cubs of another female so he can mate with her, and then none of that is mentioned in here. This is kind of thing that I feels like I would have watched this in as a movie, like when back in my day they would roll a cart in with a TV on it and you're like, yay, no learning, I just get to fall asleep during class or watch a movie. It could have been about African lions, or it could have been an actual movie. I'm pretty sure I saw not the Ten Commandments, but we saw Shogun once I saw the Shogun movie or mini series in social studies class one time. I don't know if it was fully appropriate, but okay. But yeah, now this feels like the kind of movie you'd watch in nature studies, wherever. I don't even know what the classes were back then. I'm that old. I've forgotten what school is. But in this, sure it's educational. You learn things about all the different animals and what makes them different and how they all feed into that big cycle, that circle of life. But it's also funny. Winston tends to speak with a humorous tone in many cases, calling the male lion lazy while the female lion does all the work and all the cubs. The way it's stitched together is sometimes has a lighter tone than you'd expect it to be, and it makes it interesting. It is also, his voice, I think, is also very calming to me anyway. I just felt like I just wanted to just fade out, and I could have fallen asleep watching this. It's relaxing. So if you're an insomniac and you don't have to necessarily watch what's on the screen, there are some brutal, you can just fall asleep to this. If you happen to wake up at certain parts where the lions are tearing apart various animals, you might wake up a little bit upset, but it's nature. You got to get used to it. So I don't know if this is one of our last ones. I think we might have seen all of them now, or we're getting real close to seeing all the true life adventures that Disney had put out back in the 50s and 60s, I think. I don't know, maybe it's just a 50s thing. This came out when Disneyland was coming out. I feel like going on the Jungle Cruise right now, right after this. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I really can say. If you love if you love the documentaries, but you want to see what the old school ones are and the 4:3 aspect ratio made for television, in when television was new. And this would have been in black and white, probably. Or I mean, it's in color, even though this looks really washed out. It's definitely in color. So I would say give it a shot if you just want to get some old school nature education. And as usual, these things tend to start with some animation, just sort of giving you some background about the country, which sounds like it's almost going to veer into some very dicey territory in how the way they describe Africa, but I don't know. In the end, though, they focus very strongly on the lions and the elephants and the rhinos and the gazelles and the dik-diks and everything else in the I had to say that name because how many times do you get to say that way? Yeah, get to see all the animals in their habitat. No mention of humans, and no humans appear in this, as far as I can recall. So, fully Africa. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 177, staying in the hundreds again. Oh no, we were just came to the 200s. 177. Okay, understand that more than anything else we have remaining on Disney Plus that I have not watched yet, most of the things are documentaries. And so that ups the odds of everything I find, or most of what gets picked is being documentaries. However, there's a wide variety of documentaries on Disney Plus. So this one, I think, is a National Geographic one. It's very different from what we just watched. And I was almost hesitant to put it on here because at first I wasn't sure if it was really a documentary. I think it's also kind of a reality thing. I really don't know. But I think it's a series. We're going to watch at least one episode, see what it's all about. This is, again, very different than what we just watched and what we've watched a lot of recently. This is new, I think, newish in the last few months to Disney Plus. It might have been on Hulu previously, but we'll see. Now that's on Disney Plus, we're watching Psychic Kids, Children of the Paranormal. So, yeah, that's not sensationalist at all. Yeah, so I'm sure it's all based on very strong science. Psychic Kids, Children of the Paranormal, the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.